Hello again, Struck. Today I'm bringing you another one of my class showcases for Magic Legends, and this one is for the Geomancer. The Geomancer draws upon the powers of the earth to pummel enemies in close quarters. Fearlessly enter the fray using stone and lava melee attacks, advancing into the battle with goblins, Kavu and earth elementals at your side. This class has synergies with the red mana type, but just like any other class can use decks with spells of all mana types. The class has two permanent passive bonuses, which are plus 500 health potency, maximum health potency, and plus 250 sorcery damage potency. So this is more of a tanky class, but you don't have to play it tanky if you don't want to. And as I mentioned in the other class skill showcases, this class might be synergized with red mana, but you're not stuck to only using red mana. You can use red, blue, green, white or black, or you can mix two of those, up to two. So you can go red, blue, red, green, blue, green, blue, white, white and black, black and green, and so on. There's all sorts of possibilities there. The active abilities, this class has the most out of it. Not more active abilities, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about in a moment. Each class has 3+1 active abilities and mana search, so maybe 3+2. That help define that character alongside a set of passive abilities and a passive trait. The active abilities are a spammable primary attack combo, a secondary attack that normally has a cooldown, and a utility which sometimes is escape, sometimes a survivability skill, alongside another thing I call ultimate, which the developers call spark power. Out of those four, the ultimate, the spark power, is unlocked at level 6, while the other three can be used as soon as you start the game. Now let's have a closer look at them. The Geomancer's primary power is Magma Fist, punch enemies in front of you. The final hit of this combo grants 2.5% of your maximum health in shield for 10 seconds. The secondary attack of the Geomancer is called Volcanic Fury. Deal damage to nearby foes. Consume an amount of shield equal to 5% of your max health to deal additional damage. The utility skill of the Geomancer is called Berserker Leap, and it's one of my favorite things in the game. Leap forward a short distance and damage foes near your impact point, which is great for moving around the map. You can get extra charges to it and just keep jumping around, or you can initiate combat with it. There are just many uses for this, that's why it's one of my favorite. Then the spark power, the ultimate, is called Obsidian Morph, and some say you better be building around Obsidian Morph and not using mana search, but I've done mana search builds where I'm not using Obsidian Morph on this class and they are just as good. Obsidian Morph starts draining 60 spark meter every second once you activate it. You gain shield equal to your maximum health for as long as this power is active. You may not cast spells or use class abilities while this power is active, but you gain access to new powers during this effect. This is why I say this one has more. Some classes get 0 extra new powers during their ultimate, some get only 1. This guy gets 3. The class gets an extra primary, secondary and utility. The new utility is Obsidian Fist instead of Magma Fist, and you deal damage to foes in a cone in front of you. The new secondary is Cataclysm, and it pulls foes towards you in a line in front, behind, and to each side of you, and then deal damage to foes around you. That has a 10 seconds cooldown. Then the utility of Obsidian Morph is called Boulder Form, and it does this: gain increased movement speed while channeling this power, knocking away and dealing damage to foes you pass through while moving, which is pretty decent. So let's talk about mana search. Every class gets a mana search active ability at level 3 that uses the spark power charge before the ultimate spark power gets unlocked at level 6. After you unlock the spark power, in this case Obsidian Morph, players can still use Mana Surge when the spark power is fully charged or when it's not fully charged, and Mana Surge gives the following buff: gain 3 mana over 6 seconds, then draw a spell card. And I mentioned this in each of my class showcases. There are ways to build around Mana Surge and ways to build around your spark power, but regardless whether you want to build around Mana Surge or your spark power, you can greatly benefit from something that gives you increased spark meter recharge generation potency, spark generation potency. I can't remember the exact term, but it's things that give you faster generation of your spark meter. That's basically it. You can go centering your build around using Obsidian Morph more often, or maybe you can go for builds that have synergies with Mana Surge. But in any case, you would probably want that generation to be better. Now let's move on to the level up and the passives. Each hero gets various passive upgrades to their active abilities, as well as general passives that are not linked to a specific ability. And you get those as you level up. Those specific passives get unlocked at the following levels: 4, 7, 10, 15 and 22. And now let's take a look at the level up info and talk about some of those. Mana Surge we're gonna skip because we just talked about it. You get it at level 3. Then at level 4 you get Magma Spike, which is an upgrade to Magma Fist. Upgrades Magma Fist's final hit to deal greater damage in a larger area. At level 6 we mentioned you get Obsidian Morph, the spark power, so we're gonna skip that one. Then at level 7 you get Erupt, which is an upgrade for Volcanic Fury, your secondary power. Using Volcanic Fury now grants lesser might for 5 seconds, which is amazing. Then Berserker Sleep is basically an upgrade to Berserker Sleep. Leap forward a short distance and damage falls near your impact point 2 charges. So you just get an extra charge for Berserker Sleep. It's weird how they worded it. They should have just said Berserker Sleep gets an extra charge, but that can always be modified later. Now at level 15 you get a general passive called Elemental Affinity. Whenever you cast a sorcery, gain 5% of your maximum health in shield for 10 seconds, which can synergize pretty nicely with other things that give you shield, such as your primary Magma Fist. And then at level 22 you get Magma Barrage. Magma Barrage does the following: whenever you cast a sorcery, gain greater might for 3 seconds. And I think greater might replaces your lesser might from Erupt. And this can only occur once every 10 seconds. Whereas with Erupt it doesn't have a limitation. As long as you're using Erupt you get that lesser might for 5 seconds. If you can stack the lesser and greater might, that's gonna be great, but as far as I remember you couldn't stack those. I might be wrong here though. Then at level 30 comes the trait, and that brings us to the next talking point, the trait. Reaching level 30 on each class unlocks a passive trait specific to that class, which can be slotted into one of the 3 trait slots alongside 2 more traits from other classes that you have leveled up to level 30. The Geomancer's trait is Heart of Iron. While this trait is slotted and you're defeated, you will be revived with 25% of your life and recover an additional 15% of your life over 3 seconds. Additionally, you will be immune to damage and control effects for 3 seconds, which is great skill as a second wind. Something to kind of give you a backup in case you die. It doesn't say how many times you can revive, what the cooldown is on this thing, like is it once per map, per mission, is it once every 120, 180, 160, 60, 90, etc. seconds. More information would be good about this. So yeah, the Geomancer is an amazing class, and the mobility you get by having 2 Berserker Sleeps is fantastic. And if you want a more close range centric build with maybe Orb of Sheath, maybe Molten Shell I think was called, or Skin, there's some interesting setups there. it has nice synergies with that health potency, but also sorcery damage, so sorcery builds on that one are great. But so are also creature builds. You don't have direct synergies for creatures, but I've seen creature builds on the Geomancer work. So again, it's all about your items and artifacts and the spells you use. The class is kind of like that extra flavor, but it's not that definitive of your build, I guess. So hopefully this video helped you figure out whether the Geomancer is your kind of class, whether it's your first or a new class you're trying out. Hopefully it's to your liking and it helps you decide. To get notified when I upload more content for this game or other games like this one, which would be wooters of all varieties, isometric, third-person ARPGs, wooter shooters and all sorts of wooters like that, you could subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to not miss out on my content updates. And optionally, you can even join as a member of the Struck Club on YouTube as a channel member to get access to exclusive perks such as special emotes custom made by me, special badges custom made by me that represents how many months you have been a member for, as well as opt-in of editing tutorials that I can give for Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, as well as shoutouts and things like that. And I would like to use this part of the video to thank all my YouTube members and Twitch subscribers. Thank you for supporting the channel and keeping me going. Thank you also for watching this video, everyone. Keep it cool, Struck Club. Until next time, and goodbye.